Sorry I couldn't show any progress over the weekend. We had kind of a tough weekend. My wife's grandfather died last week. He was battling Alzheimer's and has been for a couple years. And his fight came to an end on Wednesday morning. It was something that everybody kind of expected, but that doesn't make it any easier. But we went down, visited the family, and attended the funeral, and actually had a really wonderful time visiting with the family, and the weather was fantastic, and it was just really picturesque and kind of beautiful down there in southern Missouri this weekend. And one of the fortunate or unfortunate things that I got to do was go through his toolbox. My wife's grandfather was a sheet metal mechanic for TWA for 38 years, I think. And everybody knew that I did sheet metal work, and I've kind of dug through the toolbox a little bit before, but took a few little things here and there, but basically it was time to go through it and find what was useful and kind of leave behind the things I didn't think I would ever use. And what's kind of bittersweet and kind of neat about it is those tools have been sitting dormant for quite a while. 20 years, 15 years, something like that. And it was just neat going through an old-timer's toolbox. It was like you could see the way everything was arranged, all the pieces and parts, and why things were where they were, and you could kind of think alongside of him as he was putting airplanes together. And it was really kind of a neat thing that I got to experience. And what I really think is neat is that these tools aren't just going to go in my toolbox. These tools are going to be in my hands. These tools are going to help me make the things that I like to make and work on the projects that I work on and create things for other people. And I think for me, there's kind of a vulture type mentality that goes through people's heads when someone passes away, and a lot of people shy away from that because they don't want that in their heads, that they're taking something and scavenging and all that. And I guess where I sit with it is this is a way for what he started doing sheet metal work wise to continue on, and it's a way for me to connect back with him. Every time I put my hands on one of those tools and use it, I'll know that it was Ralph's. I've known Ralph for 20 years, so for a spouse's grandfather, for somebody to know him for that long is really kind of rare. I lost my grandparents really early on. One of my grandfather, my dad's dad, I never knew. His mother, I don't want to say too much about it, but she was absent, and my grandparents were pretty sick when I was a young kid, so I adopted my wife's grandparents as my own, and that's why you see Cecil over here working on the cars once in a while. He's her other grandfather, and I mean, those are my grandparents, and so I've known him for a long time, and it's going to mean a lot to me to use his tools in my work. And I'm excited about that, so I wanted to show everybody just a glimpse inside of a toolbox of a sheet metal mechanic. I didn't bring all of his tools. He had reamers and things that I would never use, so I just brought the things that I thought I would use. Ball peen hammers, mirror to get behind your work, see what's going on. It needs to be cleaned a little bit. But he had this box here with a handful of drill bits, chuck keys, some carbide bits for cleaning things up, Sorry, I'm trying to look through the camera and poke at things at the same time. A few more little carbide bits and easy out. A tool that I can't identify, so I took this tool to see if anybody would know what it is. It's got a bushing around the edge of it, and it looks like some kind of a milling tool. My guess is this might have been to sharpen, I don't know, sharpen a countersink bit or something. I don't know. Anybody has any ideas, let me know. There's another couple tools, I have no idea. These have markings that say BF Goodrich. One of them had a patent pending on it. Hang on, let me see if I can find it. Patent pending 2069907 C700. It's a BF Goodrich, Akron, Ohio. It has a little thing here at the back that you can twist, and it makes that thing twist. And it has a handle you can pull out, but the handle doesn't do anything. So I don't know what these are for. He has 3 of them. I figured it was some kind of a spreader tool or something, but I don't know. I took them because I thought if it was a spreader tool, it might be something I could use. We've got a bunch of files. Some of these are made in Japan. Some of them are made in Sweden, and some are made in the USA. The Sweden ones are called Oberg, O-B-E-R-G. And he's got quite a few of those, and then we got the Vixen files here. I'm sure everybody has seen these. They go in an air chisel or a rivet gun. They just hammer sheet metal. He had a handful of these, and actually, if you go back in time, I took a few of these a while back, probably a year or 2 ago. But he had a couple more, and I thought, you know, I may use these. This one's carved out on the side, so it was for something specific. So he took a good one and ground on it. Hang on, I gotta look around here a little bit. There's a couple of these guys which look like grinding faces that you can put into a die grinder. He had a bunch of these little abrasive guys, so there's the mandrel for it, and then the bit of abrasive that you can put on. This looks like something that you drill a hole and then put this into to put a bore, a bottomed out bore into. Not sure. This here is a countersinking bit with a ring around it that you can adjust, so that countersink, you can tell it how deep to go. He had a bunch of different mandrels for different things. What's interesting is I had the mandrel for these. He had a huge supply of these guys, so I got an entire can full of 50 grit discs. I had that mandrel. I did not have a mandrel for these. I found this. So he had a couple of these, kind of a screw-on. So if you look at the back, it's just kind of a screw-on deal. Then he's got another one that's either 3/4 of an inch or an inch. I can't tell. Had a bunch of those little abrasives. Scotch-Brite, Velcro. These are like 3" maybe. Then a 1.5, 2" something like that. I don't know. I can't tell. I don't have any measuring instruments. Radiac wheels. He had 3 mandrels for radiacs. Then we had a stack of wheels, a stack of little smaller wheels. Had some thicker ones, thinner ones. Then here's the one I'm really curious about. This looks like a mini saw blade, and he has smaller ones, all the way down to like a 1" So I've got a whole bunch of these saws, and they look really scary. I don't know if you cut sheet metal with these or if these are intended for wood, but it looks like they fit into a 1/4" die grinder. And we got Scotch-Brite pads to go on the mandrel. Here's these pads. Got a bunch of the funky little pads there, and then a bunch of the little 1" guys right there. He had 3 or 4 different sizes of, I'm going to call them Clecos, but they're not. These work with a wing nut, but they do the same job, holding sheet metal together. But then he had little bitty ones like this, and the pliers to go along with them. So these are marked 404. So that tells you what size that is. I don't know if that's this one. Hang on. Sorry about the commercial break. So this is the tool. That's the Cleco thing. You push on it like that. You poke this through a hole like this. Poke it through a hole, let it go, and it tightens up. So I've got all these from him. Some of them operate with the tools, some of them don't. I've heard those are really handy. I've never actually used them before. And then we have these clamps back here. So he had a handful of C-clamps. He had a bunch of these guys. These are really great little clamps, little sheet metal clamps. So maybe half a dozen of those. Then we have some vice grips, different sizes, some needle nose vice grips. And these are all real vice grips, which is nice. Those are fantastic tools. Then some bigger sheet metal clamps. So those are really nice. I just wanted to give you a quick glimpse inside of his toolbox and what he had. Sorry it took so long. And I didn't really want to get too serious on anybody, but that was the other thing he had, was a bunch of Norton 320. So I thought that was interesting. But anyway, there's a quick glimpse inside of a sheet metal worker's toolbox. And like I said, I only took the things I thought I was going to use, and I just absolutely can't wait to put these back into service and use them on my projects that both I'll enjoy and my wife will enjoy. And I'll make sure that she knows every time that she's involved with a project that I did with his tools, that she knows about it. I think that's really kind of a cool thing. So there you go.